What's up, my ninjas and ninjettes? This is the Undead Ninja here. And was Ulfric really a great tactician, or was he just some fool? Let's get into it. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day, and welcome to my channel. The reason why I am making this video is not long ago I had made a TikTok saying my sadness because you have to choose between Ulfric and Jarl Balgruuf. And Jarl Balgruuf is one of my favorite characters in the franchise. He stands on business for his town, stands on business for his family. The thing about him too is that he stands for his city over his family, right? Which isn't so cool, but he makes it so that way it is a neutral land, even though the paper and the marks say that it's imperial territory. This map can be found in every war room and all the holds, so that way it gives you a good idea where the forts are and who's on what team. However, that is not the exact map that we will be using in this video. The map that we will be using in this video is this one. We're going to be using it and we're going to be marking it up so that way we know how we would approach it. And if we are truly on Ulfric's side in the way that he approached it, or if he could have gone a different way. So if you play the Civil War questline before Dovahkiin makes the treaties between the two to stop the dragon attacks, this is the list of who and when you attack. The first hold being Whiterun Hold, the second being Falkreath, the third being the Reach, fourth being Halfmarch, and fifth being Hafengard. So let's put that together. Let's draw that on the map, alright? So we do first being Whiterun. Okay, we got number one there. Second being Falkreath. Third, we go over to Markarth for the Reach. Fourth being Morthal for Halfmark. And fifth being Solitude for Hafengard, with the fifth being Solitude. Now that we know that's the end goal, let's divide Skyrim up a bit. So the hold that has decided to choose Ulfric and join his cause are the people of the Rift, the people of Esmarch, the people of the Pale, and the people of Winterhold. And now you're gonna watch me fill in the whole side because I'm autistic like that. But of course, Esmarch is going to choose Ulfric because he is based out of Windhelm. Okay, so now that I got this almost filled in enough. So now that we got Ulfric's rebellion and we know the size of it, I'm going to go over the holds that side with the Imperials. So, which include Falkreath, Markarth, Halfmarch, and Hafengard, with Solitude being the lead capital of the Imperials. Now you're gonna watch me fill in the rest of this. So the reason why I didn't do Whiterun is because I have marked that as a neutral territory right now. Although, like I said earlier, the map shows that Whiterun does align with the Imperials. He doesn't really, at least at first, right? So we're gonna make his area white for neutrality. So let's bring up the old map, okay, and let's say we attack Falkreath first, Halfmarch second, the Reach third, and then Solitude fourth. Okay, leaving Whiterun out of it. Okay, we're gonna say that they're neutral territory. We're not gonna mess with it, and yeah. All right. So what are the possibilities and outcome that may happen if we did it like this? All right. Let me delete this. Okay. So there are pros and cons to this, right? So the first pro is the fact of you can move Windhelm and your troops very easy, right? You could go straight to the, Falkreath and Healthmarch, right? And set up base there, which is very nice. So Solitude, though, will probably send more troops to Markarth, and since your people are divided, they're gonna go through, to Healthmarch, because, like I said, our main goal is Solitude, right? Well, the only issue is when they send both their troops there, not only are our troops divided, but they could probably send someone straight through the middle, right? Straight into Whiterun. And this is, let's say, if they send their troops there, because it is a neutral zone, they'll be able to attack from the other side and down the other side, which creates this kind of like pike zone. So you see a few issues that come with Solitude being so close to Healthmarch and Morthal, right? So what if we were to instead, from the Rift, go to Falkreath and Windhelm and whatnot, and then go from Falkreath to the Reach with Markarth, right? And then we attack Morthal. So overall, it seems like a pretty good plan, except if they can get through the middle and take over, I guess, a segment into Whiterun, they'd be able to have a slight advantage at that time. However, Ulfric's people could just pinch off the middle, right? So they'd have to attack from Solitude, from either heading towards Markarth or Morthal, right? However, they're probably going to attack Markarth, just because it is a bigger zone, but guess what? That's a bigger zone that the Stormcloaks have in this situation. And if they were able to get into Whiterun, that would have meant that Jarl Balgruuf agreed, which in this scenario, I'm assuming he's going to try and stay neutral. So clearly, if you did have a truce in this setting, then it could work. But the big issue is if Jarl Balgruuf decides to go back on his word, which, from what I could tell, he wouldn't. So let's pull the map back up again. So as I pull the map back up again, let's retrace our territories as Ulfric, okay? So, like at this point, we would have Markarth, Healthmarch, the Pale, Winterhold, Esmarch, the Rift, Falkreath, just basically every hold except Hafengard with Solitude and Whiterun hold with Whiterun, right? Like I said, we're gonna make Whiterun back to neutral. So let me mark that. Okay. So now that they're neutral, where exactly could Solitude attack from? Because that's a rough go right there. Basically the whole nation against Solitude at this point, except for Whiterun. And so there's a few places that they could attack. They could attack the Clear State here, right? If they try to go through the middle to try and get a hold of Whiterun, they'd be stopped by people in Markarth and / the Reach or Healthmarch, right? And they could try to attack Markarth first, or they could try and attack Morthal first, or the forts nearby. The thing is, they could also go by boat and hit up these north spots like Dawnstar, Winterhold, and whatnot. Or they could go around, go through Hammerfell, and then possibly through Cyrodiil. The only issue here, though, is that that would mean that they're having so much unneeded soldiers and supplies being dispersed at this point, when it's probably not a good idea, right? So, in my opinion, this is a very good and working idea. Okay? So that way, Jarl Balgruuf can continue what he does for his people. However, let's bring it up in a situation where, let's say, in the middle of all this, he decides to turn towards the Imperials. So I'll bring up this map again. Okay, so let's outline it all. We would have, like I said, Markarth, Morthal, Dawnstar, Winterhold, Falkreath, and Riften, and Windhelm. Right? So the big major cities, with being Solitude, being the Imperials, and now Whiterun. Okay? I guess for some reason, Jarl Balgruuf decided, you know what? This is unfair. Ulfric's too egotistic. We should become part of the Empire. Alright, so kind of looks like a big donut. Okay? But here's the problem, dude. If you were to do that, even though it's the biggest hold, everyone around you is your enemy. Ain't nobody gonna help you. And even if Solitude tried, they'd have to push pretty hard to get into Whiterun, or to have a big enough force to get into Whiterun and help out. Right? It just wouldn't happen. So this brings me into what I would say my conclusion. So was Ulfric, correct with using the base attacks that he did? Of course. I mean, it makes sense to go as a unit and as a force and not leave any opportunity in the middle. However, I do believe that some of it is stubbornness. And the reason to believe stubbornness is because even though he gave him the axe and it was returned back, he still was like, okay, that's just an act of war. When in reality, why is he even attacking Whiterun? Because they have a huge statue and Shrine of Talos that is actively being praised. Like, isn't that Ulfric's biggest thing that he's trying to do? Is make it so that way his religion and his beliefs and everybody else of the Stormcloak's beliefs to be able to worship Talos? And you got this man who's actively letting that happen in the streets, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, we should attack him. Or, yeah, he needs to be by my side. Like, that's some narcissistic crap right there, dude. Like, so does it make sense to take Whiterun first? Yes. Is Ulfric a tactical genius? Short answer, I wouldn't say genius. You already got the long answer. This is the reason why we have the video. But yeah, I do think that there could have been alternate ways, specifically where Jarl Balgruuf already shares the same values. It doesn't make sense to push him and nag him to the point of where he joins with the Empire. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you think that Ulfric was very tactical with his approach, or do you think he should have let Jarl Balgruuf run his city the way that he did. Until next time, remember to stay in the shadows. Undead Ninja out.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever number one. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever